Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly profound. Now, you might already know that for many students in South Korea, the College Scholastic Ability Test, the CSAT or Sunung, is widely considered one of the most grueling, high-stakes exams on the planet. I mean, it is literally a marathon of endurance that pushes young minds to their absolute breaking point. But what if we completely reframed how we look at this intense period of study? Today, we're unpacking a really remarkable collection of daily encouragement messages written by a mentor known as Chungvely. And let me tell you, these aren't just your standard study tips. They are a masterclass into taking a brutal academic gauntlet and transforming it into a profound, life-changing journey of character building. So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild thought. What if the most stressful exam of your life is actually your greatest privilege? I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, right? When you're buried under a mountain of textbooks and running on no sleep, privilege is probably the absolute last word that comes to mind. But actually, that is exactly the paradigm shift Chungvely guided their students through. Instead of viewing the exam as this agonizing, miserable hurdle, these messages invite us to see the preparation itself as an unparalleled opportunity. An opportunity to forge our identity, build unshakable resilience, and really discover exactly what we are capable of. And to ground us in reality here, these are authentic daily messages. These were sent out day in and day out to real students surviving a grueling year. So these weren't just abstract philosophical musings typed up in an ivory tower. They were daily lifelines thrown right into the trenches. We'll be exploring the beautiful English translations of these Sunung slogans today and unpacking the raw wisdom that kept so many students going when, honestly, all they wanted to do was quit. All right, so let's kick things off with phase one, the power of habit. Here's where we shift the mindset away from the sheer, exhausting physical reality of studying. There's a brilliant contrast in Chungvely's March 8th entry, the fuel of passion versus the inertia of habit. Think about it. When we start a massive project, we usually rely on passion. We feel this sudden burst of motivation, right? An intense, fiery energy that propels us forward. But the thing about passion is, it's fleeting. It burns out. Habit, on the other hand, is like inertia. Once a heavy object is in motion, it takes an immense amount of force to stop it. True success in an arduous journey doesn't come from being hyped up every single day. It comes from the quiet, unstoppable momentum of habits that carry you forward even on the days your passion is completely, totally gone. Building on that idea, the March 11th entry breaks down true study into three really clear, actionable steps. First up, you need the basics, grasped entirely without someone else's help. Second, you need voluntary continuation, meaning you're doing the work when absolutely nobody is forcing you to. And third, resilience beyond failure. You see, true studying isn't just passively following a curriculum or sitting half asleep in a lecture hall. It's about constructing an independent, self-sustaining system of learning that can actually survive mistakes and setbacks. Okay, this brings us to what I honestly think is one of the most beautiful concepts we'll cover today. 조개기 나약ong. We can translate this as micro-habits or fractured inner strength. From the entries on March 19th and 22nd, Chungvely explains that monumental success doesn't always look monumental. Actually, it comes from assigning deep meaning to seemingly trivial routines. It's all about breaking tasks down into pieces so unbelievably small that they just fit right into the cracks of your day. Reading a short paragraph, reviewing a single vocabulary word, it's about squeezing study into your daily life until it becomes as natural and automatic as breathing. Moving right along, let's dive into phase two, the nevertheless spirit. Because let's be real, eventually that initial excitement fades, bone-deep exhaustion sets in, and the real mental battle begins. On March 23rd, Chungvely introduced what I consider the absolute core of academic survival, the nevertheless spirit. And this isn't just some cute dictionary term, it's a deliberate, active mental rebellion. When you are dead tired, your brain will supply you with incredibly logical rationalizations for why you should just stop studying. Like suddenly organizing your sock drawer feels like an urgent life or death priority. The nevertheless spirit is hearing those excuses, acknowledging them, and nevertheless keeping your seat. You stay put, simply because it is your routine. Let's see how this builds into the actual testing strategy. A really crucial metaphor from March 20th differentiates between practice, rehearsal, and the main stage. Everyday study, that's your practice. Mock exams, those are your rehearsals. The CSAT itself, that is the main stage. The advice here is simple but incredibly profound. Do not burn out all your emotional and physical energy on the rehearsals. Treat the mock exam seriously, for sure, but remember they are not the actual performance.
You've got to conserve your ultimate energy for the main stage.
Now, keeping your seat absolutely does not mean ignoring your biology. Listen to this stark warning from April 18th. If you don't rest, you will be forced to rest. Chungvely clarifies that true rest is not aimlessly scrolling on your phone. That's just a different kind of mental taxation, right? True rest is actual, deliberate recovery. If you don't actively schedule time to let your brain and body recover, your biology will step in and mandate a break for you. And that usually looks like illness, severe burnout, or just a total collapse.
And as the exam inevitably draws closer, the pressure spikes, which leads us to phase 3, embracing your anxiety. I want you to just let this quote from Juneteenth sit with you for a second. Uncertainty is another name for hope. Wow, when we face a massive exam, we hate uncertainty, don't we? We want guaranteed outcomes. But think about it. If an outcome is completely guaranteed and certain, it means nothing can change. Uncertainty simply means the story isn't finished yet. The blank spaces that cause us so much fear, those are the exact same blank spaces where miracles, growth, and sudden improvements are actually allowed to happen.
So how do we actually deal with that feeling? Synthesizing the advice from late June, Chungvely tells students to just accept anxiety as their default state. Stop fighting it, normalize it, recognize that anxiety is just the feeling of unfixed potential. Look, if you want stable, perfect peace with zero anxiety, there is a surefire way to get it. Just stay exactly where you are and never attempt to grow. But if you want to move forward, anxiety is just the toll you pay. The only real cure is to immerse yourself completely in what you can control right in this very second.
And when things inevitably go wrong, because they will, remember this punchy, firm truth from June 2nd. Frustration is a luxury. It sounds a bit harsh, sure, but it's incredibly freeing. Wallowing in despair, throwing a pity party because you missed a practice question, that takes precious time and energy you simply cannot afford to spend. Acknowledge the mistake, absolutely, but the time spent being dramatically frustrated, that is a luxury. Take a deep breath and dive right back into the process.
Which brings us to our final stage, phase 4, the privilege of growth. This is the climactic, high-level philosophical pillar of Chungvely's whole message. This is where the CSAT ceases to be just a test and elevates into a profound test of human character. It's a massive mindset shift. From March 31st, high school senior year is not a burden, it is a privilege. To have a singular, focused goal. To have the health and the sheer opportunity to pursue it. To be pushed to discover the absolute limits of your dedication. Experiencing this kind of intense, fiery challenge is an incredible opportunity for self-discovery that, honestly, a lot of people never get in their entire lives. And because it's fundamentally about character, the final score isn't the only judge of your success. As noted on April 2nd, if we don't leave regrets in the process, every moment was a journey to our dreams, regardless of the current destination. This is just such a comforting thought. If you pour your absolute soul into the preparation, the relentless effort itself becomes your victory. You have successfully become a person who knows how to try.
And true growth, as outlined on June 1st, involves incredible maturity. It means acknowledging what Chungvely calls appropriate frustration. Feeling the sting of a mistake, sure, but without letting it completely destroy you. It's knowing a stumble today doesn't define your ultimate capability tomorrow. It means letting go of perfectionism, like having the wisdom to skip a problem that's consuming way too much time because you see the bigger picture. And ultimately, it means embracing your own mistakes and extending that exact same grace to the flaws of others around you.
Then, on September 5th, a really crucial reminder was shared. University is not the finish line. It is merely a stage. If you build this immense, disciplined capacity during your student preparation, the university you attend is just the very first place you get to pour that capacity out. And if you truly give it your all, eventually, whatever stage you are on will start to feel a little too small for you, inevitably leading to even greater opportunities down the line. Bringing this explainer full circle, we look at the resounding theme from March and August. Miracles are the repetition of trivial daily life. We all kind of want a sudden, magical Sunung jackpot, right? But that's just not how reality works. Massive, life-altering success is actually pretty boring on a day-to-day level. It is just persistent, quiet, unglamorous daily effort compounded over time until it looks exactly like a miracle to everyone else. So I want to leave you with this final thought. When the dust finally settles and the exams are over, will you look back at this intense period merely as a traumatic test you barely survived? Or will you look back at it as the very foundation where you built your character? The choice is entirely up to you. I encourage you to embrace the challenge, get back to your desk with that renewed, nevertheless spirit, and start building your miracle today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep going, you've got this.